Looks like we have an Irish Wolfhound named Ripley.
We do.
Cool. So go ahead and fill me in on Ripley and what you're what you're looking for, and just you can tell me more about Ripley because I have the basics here. She's already 70 pounds at 6 months,
Yep.
and female, not spayed yet.
Correct. Yeah. They want us to wait until at least the first couple of heats before spaying, or just for giant breeds. I don't know. They say particularly this breed, the female needs the hormones or whatever to assist with her growing. So and it significantly cuts down on the risk of cancer for her to wait later to spare or to neuter her later if that's the path that we go.
Yeah.
So but yeah, no, she's a great puppy. She's a great dog. She's excitable at times. And like right now she's controllable, on a leash. But I think my concern is as she gets bigger, if she wants to go somewhere and she can be stubborn. And if she's, tuning me out and not listening, or tuning one of the kids out and not listening, there's not a thing that anybody could do. If she wants to go somewhere when she gets bigger, she's going and taking you with her. So, this is something I've actually wanted to do for a bit, but for financial reasons had to kind of wait for a few things to clear up. So I'm in a position now to get set up and so forth. But I just want her to be responsive with listening to commands and not turn it into a negotiation. As she's stubborn. It's a stubborn breed. And I'm sure you're used to, or you've worked with large breeds before, but they're not high rep, low weight kind of situations. They run out of interest and energy, a lot sooner than the smaller breeds do for training. So, she's more high weight, low reps in how she, in her attention span.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Anything else that you know about Ripley or whatever, anything else?
No, she's good with other dogs. She's good with people. I will say that she's gotten a little bit more tentative initially when meeting now. And I think there's a correlation between, me going back to work and her sort of meeting all the people in the circle already. So she hasn't met new people in a while, and had new experiences. And, because of the giant breed thing, some of her vaccinations, were held a little bit longer than they would normally have been, just to not unnecessarily tax her immune system as she's growing.
Okay.
So, so I haven't been able to, put her in like a, puppy, daycare type of thing or anything like that, because she's, she didn't have some of the vaccinations quite yet.
Gotcha. Cool.
So, but she'll be, within the next week or two, she'll be caught up. Her growing's been good. Her health is very good. She's a really sweet dog. She just needs some guidance. I think I saw in one of your videos where we're talking about, I don't remember if it was a German Shepherd or something, but she's kind of a dog that needs a job a little bit. She needs a purpose, just her personality. She needs something to do. And so, I think the ball, using a ball or incorporating a ball is something that I saw in one of your videos for a dog like that. And she is ball driven. That's something that she's very into. So, but yeah, I'm looking for, I initially looked at the board and train options like for 2 weeks. But I think I'm going to have a hard time not having her home every night.
Yeah,
So I think I'd rather do like the daycare and train, for 10 days.
good. Yeah.
Um, I guess my question about that is it 10 consecutive days, or is it Monday through Friday and then the following Monday through Friday?
So for the daycare and train, it's does not have to be back to back. As long as you bring her, as long as you bring Ripley Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for her first 2 or 3 days, any
Okay.
day would work because so for the daycare and train, there everything's on video and recorded. So
Okay.
if you look on the channel, you'll see a lot of videos of if it's at the facility, it's usually me, or if it's a
Hmm.
lesson, it's usually Jesse. So I'm only at the facility Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I needed
Okay.
to be here. The dogs need to be here when I'm here, so I can do the videos, get the foundation done. Once that foundation is done, then the other trainers can reinforce and practice the training because now I've
Okay.
taught it. Now all they need to do is practice, practice, practice because
Got it.
there's a difference between teaching something and like practicing it.
Right.
So that's for me. It's just for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. As long as she comes there for first 3 days, you're fine. But they don't Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday doesn't need to be back to back. It could be like this Monday, next Monday and Tuesday, or like next Wednesday. So, it can be however it works for you. It's a bundle, so you don't need to make appointments. You don't need to schedule anything. If you do end up scheduling something like I want Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just letting us know. And if you can't come on one day you've already scheduled, you don't lose that day. It's just you just didn't show up. There's no consequence for that.
Okay. Got it.
Cool. Um, so yeah, I mean, from what I'm hearing, it's just basic obedience, very easy stuff. And we do have a lot of experience with like the big goofballs,
Yeah.
giants who are just like, what? No, I want to go over there. I want to lay down. I want to do all these other things. So we do have a lot of experience. I think the last dog we had was a Great Mountain Swiss dog. I think that's how it goes. Great Mountain Swiss or Great Swiss Mountain, something like that.
Okay.
His name was Loki, and he was very like he still had he was fully grown, and he still had those puppy eyes where he's just kind of like, no, I want to be a puppy still. So
Right.
we do have experience with that. So it's nothing new for us. And I think we did have an Irish Wolfhound here one time, but I rarely see them. The Irish Wolfhounds are pretty cool dogs. But yeah, cool. Yeah, so I think whatever program you decide to choose for you, it wouldn't be a big deal. It's just it's just what works for your life, like availability, and like you would like her there every single night, but you still want to train. So then daycare and train is probably the best option for you. She'll still get to experience daycare activities, so she can be in play groups still. We teach
Right.
dogs how to walk on the treadmill.
Okay.
We have a bigger one for like Great Danes, but that's currently getting fixed. So we'll see how big she is, and we can probably put on the next bigger one for her. But yeah, she'll still get to play with dogs. She's just, you drop her off 7 a.m. to 10, and then we're just training her, and then you pick her up. Preferably, so pickup starts at 3 p.m. and ends at 7. We prefer the daycare trainers to pick up like around 4 or like a little bit 5, just so we have time to do all the sessions with all the trainers here, so they get
Mhm.
they get the training done.
Right.
Yeah, daycare and train it's a good option, good program there. You also get, so let's say the 10 day care and train, you get 3 hours of follow-up time
Right.
at Oz Park. So you still
Okay.
get that one-on-one in that program.
Got
So
it. So yeah, you guys are located. I live out in the burbs, but you guys are located, within a reasonable distance from down, where I work downtown. So yeah, I mean, I drive in. I would drive in, drop her off, basically, on my way in, and then, I mean, I probably wouldn't be getting her much, if before 5, and it might be one day here and there, but otherwise it'll be after 5
good, yeah.
that I'd be picking her up. With that being said, I mean, I would send her with a bag of food, I'm assuming, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you can send her with food like lunch, or if you want to send us food to include it into the training. but there could be a chance where, and it's not out of the ordinary. When a dog first comes to daycare, they're just kind of stressed, so they won't
Right.
eat right away.
Hmm.
Usually they'll still drink water. Sometimes they'll go like number one outside, but they don't want to do number two or something. They just don't potty for that first day because they're just stressed or new environment, new people, new dogs, new smells, and then we're also starting training that for all in that one day.
Right.
It could be a little stressful for her, and she might not want to eat, which is it's normal for a lot of dogs. So it's just her getting acclimated to the environment and realizing, oh, they're this. I know who this place is now. I know who these people are. I know these dogs. I know the smells. I know what's going down. So then you'll see her get comfortable. But it's usually pretty much like a normal thing where dogs won't eat like the first day here.
Got it. Yeah, and I mean, I guess I'm just she has some difficulty with the car, in getting kind of motion sickness or whatever.
Mhm.
So I don't, I'm trying to figure out about, I generally feed her in the morning,
Mhm.
first thing when I get up, but I also don't want her throwing that up in the car on the ride in. So anyway, I'll have to figure out, maybe getting down there a little earlier and then, feeding her down there prior to bringing her in or something. But yeah, I'll get that sorted.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can always try, and then we'll play it by ear, see how it goes, and if she doesn't eat, then she's not eating. But like I said, she should get acclimated pretty quickly and start eating. Cool. So
So I guess the rest of the picture is I have a yard, but it's not fenced, and I can't fence it because of where I live and the rules here. So she's on leash all the time, and I know it's a big no-no, but she's been operating on a retractable leash just to give her a little bit of room to run or whatever. But I would like to be really, really confident on her with recall and off leash type stuff, so that she can have the opportunity to kind of open up and I've got places I can take her and other people's houses, but I can't on a daily basis. I can't trust her off leash 100%. If the neighbor's dog is out, they're best friends, and she will not leave that dog's side, and they'll run around together. But I just worry she's going to see something and take off, and I'd like to have confidence that I know what to do and how to handle the e-collar and all that sort of thing and dealing with that.
yeah, that you actually led to the next question. I was going to ask, what does life look like with Ripley? Like, what does an everyday life look like? So, for example, like I already heard a little bit, like you want that recall, you want that control. I can let her free roam, but when it's time to go inside or I need her to come, it's at that second. Like I only say it one time, she turns around and comes.
Right.
So I already know that's good to have. Other things is like, like are you just trying to get her to like, walk nicely, get that healing? And like for example, you don't go for a walk around the block. It's a nice structured walk, no pulling, no tugging, no lagging. She is right by your side, locked with your left leg. So our version of heal, which is the walking command, is walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. So if we take 5 steps, Ripley takes 5 steps. If we take 10, she takes 10. When we come to a stop, she's to automatically sit on, depending on which side you walk her on. We typically
Okay.
do the left side. Right shoulder parallel with your left leg, always here. Never here or never here. It's always right here. And this is done
Hmm.
with a black leash in any environment. So some owners are just like, I just want my dog to walk nicely. I let my dog roam around. I need that recall. And that's all they're looking for.
Hmm.
Sometimes owners are like, I want those things, yes, but I want to be able to take my dog to patios. I need my dog to lay here and not move for 2 hours or an hour, or like maybe to work. You just need her to lay down and not move.
Hmm.
Sometimes owners want all those things, and then they're like, yeah, but I live next to like a forest, or like I go hiking every weekend, or I'm gonna be moving to California soon, and I'm gonna have my dog off leash all the time. So I want off like all of it. I want the patio stuff. I want the, you know, the walk, the recall, some fancy commands, some emergency commands when she's off leash running in the woods, and
Right.
all those things. So what do you see, or how is life with Ripley for you? Like what do you see yourself in the future with Ripley? If you were to have everything you'd want with Ripley, what would that look like?
So I think the leash or the recall stuff, as you said, is important
Yes.
because I want to be able to. I mean, she needs to be able to open up, and you know, she's she'll do it in the house where she gets the zoomies,
Yes.
and she's just now gotten to the point where she's graceful enough that I'm not worried she's going to break something on her of herself.
Yeah.
You know, she's gotten better with body control and kind of understanding where her parts are at various times. But yeah, she was a hot mess trying to do it early on. So yeah, but I feel bad not having the opportunity to get her just the opportunity to run as much as as I think that she needs. And I'm certainly not going to be running with her, not at that speed. So, so that's important. I think the other thing, and I think this will come naturally just with what you guys do there, but she loves other dogs. She has issues understanding personal space, and doesn't always take the cue of the other dog as to, not right now, or, and, she gets a little mouthy and a little excitable at times, which, with the neighbor's dog, again, she's known this dog since she was, she first got here. And she's grown with her. So the neighbor's not worried, but another person might think my dog's trying to kill their dog. Even though she's not biting or whatever, but she needs some guidance there. And I need the ability to be able to send her a message quickly at the appropriate time when it's time for her to to scale it back a little bit. She doesn't realize how big she is, and how what it looks like when she's standing over literally on top of another dog with another dog underneath her and their neck in her mouth. So she's not aggressive. It's not it's play. They're just playing, and the other dog does it too, but obviously the other dog's a lot smaller, and and so forth. So she's never trying to hurt, and it's not an aggressive thing, but I worry about the appearance of it. And and she's a puppy. If she accidentally bites down, I don't need that in my life. I want to know I can, she needs guidance, and I think in that realm a little bit, in just sort of knowing what the limits are.
Yes, correct. Good.
The other dog is super, she's very excitable too, but she's way too patient with Ripley. And she doesn't really seem to care that all this is happening. She'll yelp once in a while, but she hasn't set boundaries, the other dog. So that's one thing. Another thing that I think has been a little bit of a setback for her. She hasn't had to deal with a lot of dogs where she gets that back off, bark or whatnot. So she just needs more. She has had that with other dogs, and she does the right thing. She goes, submissive right away, tail down between her legs, and she backs up and all that. But I want to make sure and continue, to reinforce the good things.
In our daycare, there's a lot of dogs here that were trained by us, or we have one that was trained by another trainer with e-collar. So with the e-collars, we still use them in play groups. We do have a few dogs who have bad habits, or like mounters, or they also don't know when to back off, or when how to read body language. So if you see, obviously it's nature. If a dog doesn't like something, they're gonna bite. There's no like no, sit, no. They don't talk like humans. They don't give treats. It's just action, consequence. So obviously, it's natural, but we can't have that here. We can't have dogs correcting each other dogs, because then dog goes home with a bite mark, and the owner's like, what happened? Like, oh, well, your dog was humping this dog, and that's our job to correct that behavior, not the dog.
Right. Right.
So with the e-collars, whatever we don't like, we are using them to correct behaviors. So Ripley will definitely get exposed to that and like learn only have good habits here, and to will vouch for the other dogs just in case maybe the other dog is kind of done playing. Then we'll step in and everyone gives each other space, and we calm everyone down, and either leave a calm play group. So we like to have our play, our rest. So our activity, our rest. So in that hour of play, 30 minutes, we can have them playing. And then maybe like at that 30-minute mark, we calm the group down, right? We put everyone calm, like no one's playing, and we let them chill. And then like around 20 minutes, they start getting up again, and then they start playing, but it's more calmer. So we really control our groups really well. They're very structured. It's not playtime all day, every day. That we do have forced like rest time. So our activity, our rest. They're in the kennel. They need that off switch, because at some other daycares, they don't have kennels. They bring the dog and they just play all day. But sometimes dogs who do have an off switch and like, now I'm done playing, are with other dogs who don't have an off switch, because they're going. So then that's where they get the fights. That's where dogs get kicked out of daycares, just because they're done playing. They don't want to play anymore. They start being snappy. But then those dogs who are always on, they don't have an off switch. They're playing all day, but they're playing all day. And then when they go home, they're still like wired. Sometimes the owners are like, well, why did my dog get to play today? Why does my dog have so much energy? So it's just about structure and giving them that off switch and giving space and time between these activities here. So yeah, our daycare is very structured in that way, and we do correct behaviors. Other daycares, not so much. I mean, sometimes they do, like they'll have like the bottle of water, they'll spray the dogs, but usually that's not really effective for all dogs, for all dogs. But yeah.
Right.
So it sounds like you're already aware of how we train with e-collar, that tool. What do you walk Ripley on currently?
So this goes back to what I was just telling you. She's on a retractable leash. It's what she's used to. I have switched over to a 6 foot, depending on circumstances, or if whatever in the car, to get her to and from if I'm dropping her off somewhere. But she's, I know I felt bad not getting her, not having a yard for her to run around in. So, I gave up a little bit on sort of allowing her a little bit more roaming on walks. She does listen, but again, she listens to me, and, my kids, not as much.
Yeah.
And that's where, I want to get some consistency into this, so that, they know exactly how it works too. It's something that I can show them and guide them on, so that she's getting a consistent message. But yeah, I mean, I'd like her to walk more. I'd like to be able to be able to tell her both. I would like to be able to tell her, like, right now, this is a walk, and you are where you get where you're supposed to be and be where you're supposed to be on the walk. But then also I would like to be able to tell her in a way that, all right, you can run around.
Yes.
So, I mean, however you translate that in the dog and tell me how to do it, that's what I'd like to be able to do, is give her the ability, and then know that when I call her back from that she's going to come back right away.
Yes. That'll be covered in the daycare and train program. Good.
Okay.
Is your leash, whatever leash you're using, is it connected to a flat collar or a harness, or what's on Ripley?
It's just a flat nylon collar. And the collar is not even on that tight. I mean, it's honestly, I could probably put both hands underneath the collar. She doesn't try to get out of it. She doesn't try to pull away. We've never had that issue. She's not wild in that way. When we first started out, she's was very nervous and tentative, and didn't even really want to go on walks. She wanted to stay home. She would constantly turn around and want to come back with her tail between her legs. She did not enjoy it. She's gotten better, and is now, likes to go on walks, but then also, like, if something goes on, or there's and that's something I also want to work through a little bit, is just if she starts to have anxiety about something, I don't want to give in to her all the time. You know what I mean? And trying to build in that trust and not have to turn around and bring her back because, she's, whatever reason, whatever leaf just blew by made her nervous.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, I don't always know what she's reacting to. Sometimes it's where I live, there's there's a freight train very close by. So there's that sort of deep, vibration and noise that can happen in the background, as well as a lot of trucks. And so she may be reacting to that, and things that maybe I'm not necessarily hearing, but she is, that are making her, nervous and wanting to go back to her house. So
yeah, it sounds like her stress response is flight. Let's just run away. Let's go back to home.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. She is she is a flight dog, without question. If she's nervous, she wants to go back to where her safe place is. If the closest safe place is my car, that's where she's going. If it's, my ex's house, that's where she's going. Wherever it is that she, has sort of taken up roots, that's where she wants to go back to when she's nervous.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the reason I ask, but that's good to note. The reason I ask, like, what tools you use is just to get an idea of, like, what you're using. Some owners will do the harness, and I'll explain, like, why we don't want to use a harness, but flat collar is better than a harness. Sometimes, because the reasons for harnesses why they're bad is because they promote pulling, right? When you see those harnesses, it's an oxymoron. Harnesses are used for pulling. So huskies wear harnesses, horses wear harnesses. We use harnesses in protection training to create aggression from a dog, cause frustration. So they have what's called opposition reflex. If you pull back, they pull forward. If you pull left, they pull right. If you pull right, they pull left. They always want to go against the pressure on the chest.
Okay.
So sometimes it can transfer to the flat collar as well. So if a dog's on a flat, they can still, like, have, go against the pressure, when they're feeling it. So that could be a thing with her. Just depends on the dogs for that. But yeah,
she's never been in a harness, and like I said, I'm not necessarily gentle. I mean, I'm not like dragging her, but when I tell her it's time to go, there's enough of a movement on her neck that she knows it's me and it's time to go.
Yes.
She does not get that from the kids. And that's, again, I know that the collar and having the ability to give that stimulus in the same way every time, is going to be important, just so that she understands, whoever is giving the command at that time she needs to listen.
Yeah, correct. So that's good. Like you said, there's nothing wrong being, stern or firm with a dog. It's in their nature to be firm, and they thrive on physicality. All dogs bite each other. Dogs have been getting bitten since they've been puppies, right out of the womb from the mom. There's tons of videos out there. There's one video in particular of a lab where she's entering. You might have seen it. It's pretty popular. She's entering like a playpen of her puppies, and they all rush her, and she starts growling and snapping, and then you see them all just like, okay, and they all go in like their little area and they just lay down.
Yeah, I've totally seen that one. Yeah, no, and that's that's what they need, and that's why. So I got her. I didn't get her till 11 weeks, but the Irish Wolfhounds develop a lot slower than other dogs, and some of what they want to make sure that they get is that early socialization stuff from mom, and they just don't get it. They don't get it by 8 weeks. And so, that was another reason why, I didn't get her, right out of the gates or whatever, just so she would have more time to work on that.
Yeah, and all dogs are different. It all comes. Most of it comes down to genetics. So
Mhm.
like for example, Ripley, you got her when from a litter. She was born. She's only experienced everything with you, right?
Right.
So dogs that are flighty or like very like skittish. Let's say a person adopts a dog from a shelter and they're seeing a dog being very skittish. Sometimes, a lot of the times, they're thinking, "Oh wow, this dog must have had a horrible past. It must have been like abused or something must have happened," which could be, yeah. But we've also heard dogs get like shot a bunch of times and then they're still happy-go-lucky. They don't care. Like
Right.
dogs don't think about the past. It's just who they are, right? If a
Mhm.
dog's able to recover from, abusive owners and they're just whatever, that's just on the genetics. They have good recovery. They're able to just like whatever.
Right.
I'm still a dog, whatever. Some
Mhm.
dogs don't have that good of best of recovery time, and maybe it does play into the life, but most of the time it just comes down to genetics. That just your dog is just your dog just is just nervous, your dog is just anxious, your dog is just um, you know other things, so yeah, so where was I going with this? Oh, so yeah, the flat is great for Ripley. I'll get into it after this, but so the e-collar, what is it? Have you ever been to like a physical therapist or like a chiropractor?
Yeah. You talking about like the stim machine, the electric stim thing? Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So that's basically e-collar. It's just a muscle contractor.
Hmm.
It's electric, but not electricity. So it's not flowing to the dog's body. It's
Right.
just whatever it's touching, that is what it's contracting.
Yep.
So even though we'll be doing e-collar stuff with Ripley, um, since she's going to be a bigger dog, we also might, it's personal preference. It's not needed, but it's actually recommended for you, for especially for owning an Irish Wolfhound, is to also have a prong collar on her, right?
Okay.
So prong collar wouldn't be used for training. It'd just be there in case you turn the corner and there's a dog, and then she's like,
Hmm.
"Whoa!" Right? Sometimes owners aren't fast enough to resort to the remote, to the e-collar to control their dog. So then they have
Uh-huh.
that prong to be able to get that handle on her, and then boom, pull her away.
Right.
For your kids, if something, you know, if the kids aren't paying attention to something and then she's like looking at something, she's like, what's going on here, and they're just walking, and then maybe she decides to book it, she will hit the end of the prong, so she'll run, boom, get the correction and go back. So it'll provide a lot more control for you and your kids in that way.
Okay.
But again, it's not, it's up to you, but it is recommended, especially since she's going to be a bigger dog. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And honestly, I haven't had a lot of motivation to do anything but what, but the flat collar, just because um, nothing has been so horrible that, it's not like pulling has been so ridiculous. The only time she gets to a point where I literally just have to let the leash go, or, unclip it, is when the next door neighbor's dog is out and she catches wind of it.
Mhm.
And at that point, and I know, I'm not helping by just releasing it and not making her wait. We'll correct that and do the right thing, consistent with training. But right now with the flat, that's the only time with the flat collar that there's really an issue with her,
Yeah.
that we've encountered thus far.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's what we're here for. We're giving you the knowledge and tools so now that you can control in certain situations. So yeah, that's definitely can be covered. So yeah, it's personal preference. If you're like, no, like, you can play it by ear. Maybe you're like, the e-collar works really great. I only need the prong collar, then you don't need it. Or if you're like, maybe something happens today, you're like, wow, I need that prong collar now. I can't risk it again. You know, it only takes more time to realize certain things, but it's all up to you.
Okay.
So good. So yeah, e-collar, it's got the brand we use is called Dogtra. It has 127 levels. There are other models and brands out there that maybe go up to 10. So think of 10 and 127 equal, right? The power is equal. We just have so many more breaks and so many more numbers to be more specific to the dog's personality, the breed, the scenario we're in, right?
The situation. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a mile-long range. It's waterproof. They're rechargeable. What else about them? Very easy to use. It's just a dial. You only have one button we're really using for training. You have the screen, the on and off button, and it's very simple to use. A lot of other models just have like press this button to get to 10 levels, press this other button to get the 10 levels more, and it's just super complicated. Ours is very simple to use. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like you already know a little bit about e-collar. It's again, it's not a shock or anything. It's just electric.
My buddy has one. He has an ATF dog, explosive detection canine, and yeah, he has her on one. So he was showing me a bit about it and all that. So I'm familiar enough. I'm around dog people enough to know that I'm not worried about I guess maybe typical what some people might be with oh, you're shocking my dog or whatever. She's not dainty, and she's she's not a pushover. She doesn't play with dolls. She needs her attention to be gotten at times, and she's anyway, she's rough. I'm going to say she's rough, but not in an aggressive way. Again, she just, I mean, as you said, they're dogs. They bite each other. She's just very salt of the earth. And, if she needs to get up, sometimes it's a whack on the nose when she's not listening, and she's in there mixing it up with the neighbor dog.
Gosh, yeah.
And that's what it needs. It's a matter of just getting her attention is what it is. Breaking whatever's going on.
Yeah. So how we would start, if you were to do daycare and train, we'd teach her the heel right off the bat, and giving her a job on the walk, right? So heel, again, I explained what heel was earlier, walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. It sounds super strict, right? So strict that the idea behind this way of walking is that she is so focused here that nothing else matters. So this focusing being here, not focusing on anything else, is a job in itself. It's mentally tiring. It's like, oh my gosh, I gotta really focus here, or else, if I mess up, I get corrected. Or if I look at something else, or if I decide to pull, or if I want to bark, I get correct, right? So I sent maybe a little bit of overstimulation from Ripley. Overstimulation is like when they come outside, they're just like all over the place. They're like it's like they're blacked out, just like on the environment, not you. And then we'll hear owners go say like, I take my dog on so many walks throughout the day. They get so much exercise. We come home and like they have the zoomies. They're showing so much energy. There's like, I didn't even go for a walk. So that giving them a job during the walk will definitely lower that overstimulation, or if anything, get rid of it, because now they know what to do. They're focused on this walk, and then they're getting tired just from that right there. So like first lesson, usually it's only an hour long, and then the dogs go home like knocked out. They're just done for the day. So she learned heel. Heel's also good just to teach them that they're the ones in control of the e-collar. They're finding out that, oh, I can control this. So I know how to turn it on. I know how to turn it off. So they know what the pressure on, pressure off concept is, and they're able to understand, it's me. I'm the one that's in control of it. So they'll never know that I'm pressing the button. They'll never know it's you pressing the button. They think it's like the universe, and that's just happening. Right.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. So, sometimes owners will ask, will it ruin my relationship with my dog if they find out I'm shocking them? Like, they'll never know that because there's nothing is connected, right?
Right.
With the leash and you're yanking, they see that you're doing it. So they're like,
Hmm.
okay, dad is definitely stricter. But then when the kids take the leash, they're like, oh, the yanking isn't happening with them. Okay, I can press some boundaries. I can get away with certain things. So then
Right.
that's more like confrontational. It's more like, I'm doing it. And then they see that. It sounds dumb, but they see the leash connected to you and they know it's you. Right. So
Right.
sometimes, if a dog is being aggressive and like we'll do like a little touch sensitivity thing, a test. We take a
Hmm.
bite sleeve and we touch the dog and they bite the sleeve. They think it's us. So now we know, okay, this dog will actually bite someone if we were actually to touch them.
Mm.
Um, so e-collar is great. Oh no, so we will teach the heel just for them to understand the on and off, pressure on and pressure off concept, and just to give them, a job to do. They'll also know place, which is go to your bed, don't move, sit down, recall, and stay. So all 6 commands she'll learn in her stay here, and they'll all be recorded again. You'll see how we teach them, you'll see how to practice them, and you'll also see, how we work through certain things. So maybe we see some flightiness, right? So e-collar is a stressor. No one likes being disciplined. No one likes being told what to do. So sometimes we see their stress response. So dogs who have never been put under stress for certain owners have never showed their stress response. But then once we start e-collar training, we start to see them get a little bit anxious or flighty. And then the owners are like, did e-collar do that to my dog? No, like it's just stressing them out. And this is their stress response. So we
Hmm.
might see some flightiness in Ripley, right? But then in the videos, you'll see it happen, and then you'll see how we overcome that and like what we do to address that flightiness behavior.
Okay.
Um, what else? Any questions so far?
No, I guess one question, I guess. The one other thing I've kicked around, I just want to know, as far as this training goes and this type of thing. Um, if somewhere down the road I wanted to look into, maybe getting her certified to, whatever, like, therapy dog or something like that. I mean, is this something that could still be consistent with that? Um, with learning whatever they need to learn in that world as well.
I'm not too familiar with it, but I'm pretty sure you can still use like e-collars with that. Like you can still
Okay.
apply that obedience with
Hmm.
that program, I believe. But I'm not sure. Like I don't know what needs to be done to get that certification or
Got
to
it.
be certified. I'm not really familiar with that.
Okay.
We have trained dogs who needed to be certified with
Okay.
e-collars. We've done it before, but we've never really been part of the actual process of getting them certified.
Got it.
Giving them that control and that obedience for
Hmm.
them to be able to take their dog anywhere they want, like indoor places and such, or like
Right.
airport.
I'm thinking, for me, I'm thinking it's more less about like, yeah, personal therapy, but more like, like the sort of, the kids who read the books to the, to the
Oh,
dog sort of program, that sort of thing. So at any rate, I mean, she has a great personality, and kind of a lovable face, and so it's something that I've never considered doing it before, but just sort of the fact that she's so big and so friendly and nice, I could see where she might do well in that world.
yeah, for sure. Cool.
Okay, but
Um,
yeah, no, I just was curious if you'd had any experience with that, or ever anybody said like there's some, you can't do that sort of thing with that sort of,
mhm.
pursuing that sort of training. But um anyway, I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah.
Um is there anything I'm not asking that I should be?
Yeah. So there are some common questions other clients have. I'll run through them. So one question is, when does the e-card come off the dog, or when does it go on? Like, Is it we get trained, no more e-collar, or is it like e-collar forever, or is it e-collar ever forever in the home, everywhere we go? So the answer is it's on when you need it. So if you're going to, go for a walk, it's going to be on, even after,
Mhm.
always, right? Because we can't predict what's going to happen on this walk. So let's
Right.
say we're walking and then let's say we're on a busy street and like a car crash happens, right? We already know Ripley's a little bit flighty. So if that happens, and let's say you don't have your e-collar on and you're caught off guard, and then maybe she's like, I'm out of here. She decides to book it. We've heard horror stories. We've heard a lot of stories where like, owners get pulled down to the ground or the leash comes out their hand or they like dislocate shoulders,
Right.
a lot of injuries. So if that happens and she's booking it, right, she's in flight mode. When dogs are in
Mhm.
flight mode, like that intense, they're literally thinking kill or be killed.
Right.
So Ripley come won't make her do the 180 and turn around to you. It's going to be you're going to need power to override the brain in that override that state of mind when she's running
Mhm.
away. So that's where the e-collar comes into play because again, we can't predict what's going to happen in this walk. Now you're not going to be pressing that button all the time after training. If you're still pressing that button a lot during your walks, then there's something that needs to be done. There's something wrong. So
Right.
like me, for Jesse, we still take our dogs on e-collars out on walks. I can walk my dog off leash basically anywhere I want, right? And she's really good. But the e-collar is still on because I don't know what's going to happen. And we don't press it all the time. It's like once like a month, once every 2 months, and it's like for
Mhm.
emergencies in case we need it. So again, it's on when you need it. But then let's say in the home, like right now, maybe she's just relaxing, then she doesn't need it. Let's say you're gonna have a guest come over and she gets a little jumpy or a little excited, you'd call her up 30 minutes prior, address whatever that is needed to be addressed. And if you find that Ripley is settled throughout the night, then you can take it off. Or if you're like, no, I'm gonna keep it on just in case she gets excited again, or gets in their face or gets in their space, I want
Mhm.
to keep it on. Then you can keep it on. So it's on when you need it. Does that make
Got
sense?
it. Yep. Absolutely.
Cool. Um, what else? Another question is, how come when I take the e-collar off, my dog decides to pull again? Why do they jump? Why do they do the behaviors that we just addressed again? So we like to use an example with the owners is, do you drive on the highway? They usually say yes. We say, do you go the speed limit? And the answer is usually no. No one goes the speed limit on the highway.
Right.
But then bless you, once they see a squad car, everyone slows down. But once that squad car is out of their vision, they go back to speeding. It's just
Mhm.
called opportunistic behavior, right?
Mhm.
If we know we can get away with something, we're going to get away with it. So it's has nothing to do with the training, it has nothing to do with the way you're practicing, it has nothing to do with the e-collar. It's just a nature thing. If they
Mhm.
find out they can get away with something, they're going to get away with it, and it's just going to keep
Right.
happening. Right? All dogs are different. Some dogs catch on to it. Some owners, like it's most like the older ones who can't keep up with a dog like in the home. They have the e-collar on all the time, so everything's super consistent. Right? There's no room for like I want to make a command happen, but I don't have the e-collar, so I can't make it happen. And my dog has just figured out, oh, you told me down. I'm not laying down. You can't make me lay down. Okay, I know what changed. I know what changed. There's no
Mhm.
e-collar here. So it's just, it can be on consistency or just, all dogs are different. Some dogs just know right off the bat when that thing comes on. It says Jesse calls it a cop on a collar. When that cop
Mhm.
is on, they know to behave.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yep. Totally.
Cool. I think that's pretty much it for training. So yeah, it's I think daycare and train would be a good program for Ripley.
Mhm.
Um, what else? So we have the 5 day, the 10 day, the 15, and the 20. I recommend maybe like the 10 day or 15. It just depends how much control you're wanting,
Right.
obedience. If you're just looking for that walk and that recall, probably the 10 day. The 15 is more like the walk, the recall, and I need my dog to lay down and not move for 2 hours. The 20 day is everything like hiking stuff, like off leash.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on, you know, how much control you're looking for. I wouldn't recommend a 5-day just because I'm already hearing that she's a little flighty. So it sounds like we would need more time with her to, let's say we do see her get anxious and flighty. If we stop, like, because we need to get over that hump. If we
Right.
stop and we don't get over that, then she never overcomes that response. So
Mm-hmm.
more time is needed to overcome that, and then her to realize, oh, this is all I have to do, just
Right.
for her. Does that make sense?
Yep. Totally.
Cool. The 10-day comes with 1 hour long videos, 3 hours of follow-up. And those videos will be sent out to you once they're completed. So they're usually completed within the 3 days of the program or 4 days within the program, the first week. And the second week is like towards the end of the program. All lessons of the follow-ups are taking place at Oz Park, where we kind of just like, you know, you have a few options. You can either watch the video, just like study it, and then we do the follow-up. Or you can watch the video, practice, and then when we do the follow-up, you're like, hey, Enrique, this is what I've been practicing. And then, like, you know, we can fix whatever needs to be fixed or sharpen certain things, see make sure that everything's being practiced correctly. Sometimes owners they'll watch the video and they're like, they don't want to touch the e-collar because they're just like, I don't want to touch it. I just want to wait for you to, you know, walk me through it. So it just depends how you would like to go about it, and, you know, time-wise as well. So just depends how you want to go about it that way. But it sounds like for Ripley, sounds like, because usually with these dogs like these, the flighty ones, they just need more exposure to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to realize, oh, training this feeling e-collar isn't only at Canine Perspective, it's actually at home too. So the more exposure they get to it, the more they understand it, and the more they overcome that stressful response. So,
Right.
you know, it's normal for them to be stressed anyways for like the first week or two on the training tool. Because now, you know, dogs who have been trained at e-collar for, you know, a few months now, they hear that collar like that belt jingle or whatever, and they get excited because when they see the e-collar, it means off leash time, walks, fun stuff, and a whole bunch of fun stuff, right? So it's normal for them to see the e-collar and they're like, nah, I don't want to do that for like the first week or 2 weeks. So that's all normal. So yeah, that's the daycare and train. Any questions about the program?
No, I think it all makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I was kind of looking in at the 10-day option, is, you know, where I definitely wanted to start off. And I think whoever I talked to in the office, is it Kim maybe?
Yes, probably Kim.
Yeah, you know, said that, you know, if you know, I were looking at, I can add stuff on if I felt it was necessary, you know, afterwards or whatnot, or as we go. And so, you know, yeah, I'm pretty ready to just get things rolling and, you know, order what I need to order and, you know, get on the calendar and everything else. So,
yeah. So after this follow-up, I'll send you a after this consultation, I'll send you a follow-up email. You know, the program we talked about with the price, the e-collar I recommend for Ripley, a link to Amazon for you to order it yourself if you'd want to, or we have some here. So since she's being a daycare and train, you can probably just drop her off. We send you the invoice for the e-collar. It's the same price as Amazon, and we just pull it off the shelf and we just get her set up with that. So that's usually what the daycare and train and board and train clients do. The in-person, they order it themselves so they can get, you know, mess around with it first, and then come first lesson, they already have some knowledge about the collar so they can get started right away. So it's personal preference. If you want to order it yourself, you can do that as well. I'll also send you the what is it called? The form that needs to be filled out. So it's gonna ask you for like shot records, and like basic stuff like feeding instructions if you were ever to bring food, so that we know how much to feed her. And then also it'll include the agreement form, just like, just like agreements and questions and stuff like that. Once that form is filled out, it will be Kim reaching out to you, just like making sure that she has everything on her end from you. Once those shots are turned in, so the shots are very important. So like fecal exams, making sure that the
Right.
fecal exam says negative, are very important for us, because she's being around with other dogs. So once all that is completed, then she'll begin billing and booking for you. So yeah, as soon as that's completed, that's when you'll start. We're finishing up a few daycare and trains right now, so I'm pretty sure we'll have availability. We have availability right now, so you'll be fine to start as soon as you get that stuff sent out.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions?
No, I think that that covers it.
Yeah. If anything pops up, feel free to email me and I'll answer any questions you have. But other than that, if that's all, it was very nice speaking with you.
Absolutely.
I'm actually pretty excited to train an Irish Wolfhound. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, cool.
She'll give you guys a run for your money, I'm sure.
Yes, cool, awesome. All right, have a good night.
All right, you do the same. Thanks, Enrique.
Of course, bye.
Okay, bye.